Hey, Love and Listings AfterBuzz TV fans, boy, do we have a show for you. First of all, we have cast members calling a truce. We have Jacob investigating Taylor's true feelings for him. We have a special guest, Miss Ajani Scott, in the building. And Taylor teaches us that whatever's done in the dark will come to light. Hold tight, because this ladies' night out.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Yeah.
Remix.
I'm gonna give just so y'all know.
Hey, here we go.
Hey. Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning in. AfterBuzz TV, Love and Listings After Show. I am your host, Angele Taylor, in Lim's absence. Lim, we love you. We'll shout you out right now so we get that over with and get to our special guest, Miss Ajani Scott. Yay! And my lovely panel right here, we have Miss Neema Scott.
You know, Miss Scott in the building.
Oh,
And
And we have my favorite panelist, Miss Shenanigans, Shannon.
What's up, everybody? I'm so excited.
She is
tonight,
too
the
light.
girls' room. What's up?
Yes, we're
Absolutely.
ready.
Yes, it is so good to be with the girls tonight. We're sipping on our specialties and whatnot, and we're gonna have a good time after the show too.
Yes.
So let's get into these overall thoughts. Let's start with you, Miss Ajani. How did you think about this episode?
This past episode was honestly one of the more emotional episodes. I feel like everybody's story is coming to a climax, and we're really getting down to the meat of the drama. So
Absolutely.
it's pretty emotional, especially watching it back, because going through it is one thing. It's one type of emotion, but then watching yourself go through it just really invokes a whole nother level of emotion. So it's pretty interesting.
I feel that.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Neema?
I like this episode just because I feel like it kind of brought clarity to a lot of different things. Of course, I do feel for you as well in terms of the emotion. It was very emotional. There was just a lot going on, and I feel like we were kind of able to see. We were able to get a little bit more understanding of each of the cast members and who they are, and just really get down to the heart of them, instead of kind of seeing more of what they do, but really who they are.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
Just piggybacking off of that, it's like we're seeing these intimate relationships like actually unfolding and how they're dealing with their issues and stuff. So it's kind of like, oh my gosh, like how would I deal with this if it was in my life as well? So it feels very real. Like it feels pretty authentic. So
Good.
Absolutely.
Good.
yeah.
So one of the poignant moments of this particular episode was Taylor meeting up with her mom. We finally get to see who her mom is and kind of get a feel for what that relationship felt like. I noticed right away that when her mom walked in, did you guys notice that there was no embrace?
Yeah. I mean, I could tell that there was a deep awkwardness between the both of them. And then of course Taylor's mother did say that it's very awkward, but I could just see that there was something in between her and her mother, which I felt like that's why she has so much anguish and so much anger that sometimes like people think that of course we saw with her and Sarah. I think that now we kind of have a more understanding of the reason why Taylor is the way that she is. Nothing wrong, but a lot of times when you see the relationship that someone has like with family members and things that like they probably dealt with from their past and their childhood, it makes sense to understand maybe the reason why they may have a view of the world and be able to deal with things a different way. I think that even this particular moment of seeing Taylor and her mom, I really, really felt for her, and I really kind of, related to her in a sense of understanding maybe the reason why sometimes, it seems like Taylor just kind of goes off on people. But I mean, not having that relationship with your mother would make a person hard to be able to, deal with other females and be able to understand how to have that softness there. So
Yeah. And I give her a lot of props for facing it head on.
Yeah.
'Cause it's hard because me and my dad, it's like a similar-ish situation, but it's like being able to face them and talk to them about it and be like, hey, you're kind of the reason for some of this. Like, that's really hard to do.
Absolutely.
And so the fact that she's willing to do that and her mom's willing to listen, like that's amazing. So it's really cool to see that on TV and see them dealing with this issue and Taylor kind of unfolding why she acts the way she does. And maybe she was very humbled, it seemed like, after that conversation with her friends and saying like, hey, I was wrong. It's going to take me time, but I'll get there. So that was that was really nice to see from her side, a softer side.
Yeah, I think it's important to acknowledge the fact that the way that she's acting is coming from a place of hurt. It really is coming from a place of hurt, and her trying to protect herself by having that guard up and that sort of let me get you before you get me. That comes from some deep-rooted hurt, which, you know, if you don't have that relationship with your family or your mom, especially as a woman, that is some deep pain. You know, that it's so deeply rooted that it takes so much out of you. And so I think it's important for us to acknowledge that and understand her in that way. You know,
Absolutely.
And she's very brave too. For dealing with that and confronting that issue and having the want to change and the willingness to change and being able to take a step back and look at herself.
I kind of got the feeling that Taylor handles her mom, like maybe as growing up with her mom's addiction and whatnot, she had to handle her like the homie instead of like an actual maternal figure. And a lot of us actually have to do that, whether or not our parents have drug addictions or not. Some parents are just better as friends, I feel like, rather than looking at them as this authority figure.
And I feel like, you know, we see that Taylor had to grow up, so she really didn't have the opportunity to be able to be a child. So whereas sometimes we think that, you know, she's being immature, it's just the fact that she's just trying to make sense of, you know, she's had to grow up so quick that, you know, when she gets to certain moments where, you know, maybe people may have understood how to handle those things, she may react because she didn't get the opportunity to be able to handle it and grow from those things.
And then she's so young, and this is a reason for her being so ambitious and so driven and so strong at a young age, and she's had to deal with not being taken seriously because of her age, so that has also caused her to form this hardcore exterior. You know,
Protection.
It's like, I need you to know that I am tough, you know, especially because I'm young, so it's like an overcompensation for that as well. But at the end of the day, I really applaud her. She's a very strong woman, and you know, a lot of us have been there in different ways. So, you know, it's very relatable.
Shannon, you were going to add to the conversation as well?
Not really anything specific, but I just think like I just hope that she keeps like continuing to grow, and not that she's like falling back on her mom's fault, but I just hope she just continues to like, hey, I can overcome this type of thing, because she's got it. She's got what it takes. Like,
absolutely, we're here for you, Taylor. We get it, girl. We get it. We right here. So, ladies, what did you guys think about Zach's field day therapy beach moment? Like,
I thought it was sweet.
You know, Zach is really a great guy, and that was an honest effort on his part to kind of bring the group closer together. So I thought it was a really good idea. And after that, we did feel a weight lifted off of our shoulders. It was an open forum, and we were, you know, had the floor to kind of voice some of our opinions and things that we've been going through and feeling towards each other. So we definitely walked away from that situation feeling closer and more cohesive.
I felt like your moment was like cut. Like, I feel like the editing didn't allow you to get out everything that you wanted to. Is it me, or did that really happen, or do you even remember?
I believe I at least got the gist out of what, you know, I was trying to say, which I'll summarize again, was just that we need to stop judging each other so much and really find the commonalities and be there for each other in that way, because, you know, nobody has it easy at the end of the day. We're all going through our own personal struggles, and it would behoove us to be there for each other rather than be at each other's throats.
And just not focus on those things you don't agree on, and just like put those aside and be like, hey, but I like this about you, so let's just focus on that. And let's just, like, who cares about the other petty stuff?
And I commend Zach for being the person to stand up and say, listen, like, you know, let me be the team player and, you know, find a way to be able to bring everybody together. Because, I mean, the idea is that he could have just kept, like, everything could have just kept spiraling down, and no one would have taken that initiative to be a team player to say, hey guys, listen, I know that like there's drama, but at the end of the day, in order for us to be able to survive and be able to make money the way that we know we want to and the way that we can, we got to find some type of common ground. So I definitely commend him for that.
So, Ajani, do you think Sarah and Taylor's apology to one another was sincere?
At the moment, I definitely think it was sincere. Now, I believe there were some things that transpired after that to kind of test their friendship or test their relationship.
That's what I was telling you when I was
I know. Yeah. We kind of saw that, but we're gonna talk about that conversation later. We're not gonna bring it up now.
At the moment, though, it was a sincere meeting of the minds. I do believe that.
What about you, Neema and Shannon?
I mean, to be perfectly honest with you, and I'm your honest girl. I feel like Sarah was honestly being sincere. I feel like she understands that, Taylor has a certain way of looking at things. She doesn't necessarily agree, but yet she still wants Taylor to know that I'm still your friend. I just don't necessarily agree with the way that you see things, but I don't want that to be something that stops us from being able to develop a relationship. However, Taylor, and I'm not gonna lie, because we've all been there before. I felt like she just said what she needed to say because she didn't want to be the negative person in the room, to be like, well, first of all, like, I know you feel the way you feel, but still at the end of the day, I still felt like there was some type of animosity in Taylor, and her goal was to still get Jacob away from Taylor. Jacob away from Samantha.
Sarah.
Lord, can I thank you, y'all, so much. I'm really trying to say.
You're good.
I'm really trying to say Sarah. I think that her goal at the end of the day is to get Jacob away from Sarah. Yeah. So I felt like she was doing what she needed to do in the moment. I'm just being honest with you.
Well, which is why I believe that she said, it's not going to happen overnight, but I think she was open to the idea.
Maybe one day.
At that moment.
A little bit.
I don't know what the other part was.
She said, I'm going to leave room for this loophole, then I'm going to go through.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
But let you know that I may come back.
Okay, Shannon, what do you think about these apologies?
Well, and Sarah was here last week, and she's super peppy and sweet, so I think she just wants to squash it and move on.
I love Sarah
who really cares? Yes, that shouldn't have went down the way it did, but Taylor did kind of instigate a lot of it, just from what I've seen, just from what I watched, what they showed on TV, but it shouldn't have gone down the way it did, and Sarah owned up to it, and Taylor's like, okay, I'm willing to move on maybe one day, like we talked about.
One day, but not today.
I think it's just they were having fun at the beach, why have this animosity drama? Let's just move on.
Truth.
I don't know.
So, ladies, my favorite part was this come to Jesus meeting that Jacob and Taylor had. And I just wanted to know, without putting too much on it, how sincere was the apology after that meeting, where she was like, okay, so I got your best interest at heart, and I love you. However, let me block you or shield you from others that don't necessarily have your best interest at heart. We ain't seeing no names. However, how do you feel? What was it, shady? Was it sincere? What was that? And what was her intention behind saying, okay, I got you and nobody else? Focus in.
I think what the main conflict there is Taylor trying to look out for herself, but also trying to look out for him. And so that provided a little bit of conflict there, because it's I got to do what's best for me, but I'm trying to look out for you too. And then it's misconstrued as a possession, or you're hating on me, or you're leaving me. I think that her intentions were sincere. The way that it came across, maybe she didn't explain herself well in the beginning in a calm way. Maybe had this conversation taken place beforehand, it wouldn't have had to go, through all these twists and turns. But I do believe that her heart was in the right place.
Do you think it's kind of the thing, things were bad with her and Ty, so she didn't want Jacob to be with Ty, and then things are bad with her and Sarah,
say it,
and so she doesn't want Jacob to be with Sarah?
Say it.
Do you know what I mean? Do you think it's when
I think she kind of,
she's it
almost kind of seems, and no, I'm not saying reality, but it just almost, to me, it almost comes off like she is starting to slowly understand that she likes him, because if somebody's my homeboy, and you know, we all have mutual friends and he's talking to a girl, and even though we're mad, I'm like, whatever, I don't care.
Yeah.
But if this is somebody that I have feelings for and like I feel like I can call shots on, I'm like, no, you're not finna talk to him. Because my passion and anger is coming from the fact that, oh no, I'm being territorial, he's mine and you can't have him. And honestly, you know, again, like I said, I don't think that Taylor's a bad person. I think that she's starting to understand that she likes him, but I don't think that she's ready to deal with that.
Talk about
you know what I mean? Like, talk about it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because first of all, it's Taylor. She's like, she's not going to show you her cards. Right. You know what I'm saying? So she's like, well, I'm your friend. She's like, and so since I'm your friend, let me go over this test with you. So the first word, and I was just like, oh,
and like real tests in real life.
Like, so yeah, I mean, again, I think, like you said, I think that she was trying to have her best interest at heart and his, because Jacob was just like, if you could look at his face, he had like a Dr. Jekyll and Mrs. Hyde, like,
no,
like he didn't
Jacob
even know.
was trying to investigate.
He was like, wait, and then he said it. He was like, well, I was talking to somebody and they said, well, maybe Taylor kind of liked me, or, you know, like, I mean, like he kind of
two people,
right?
His godmom Diamond and his barber.
Yeah.
So he's trying to connect the dots, and that's what I'm saying. Like, he's not slow.
Right.
He gets it, and
he's for it. I think he likes it.
Yeah. Oh, I think he's down. He's waiting for her to say, let's do it. That's what he's waiting for
sure.
This is Taylor's first shot at being passive aggressive,
right?
Because she's like really direct and head on.
Yeah,
but with this relationship, she's taking it slow and she's feeling it out first.
Yeah,
she's not going to control and conquer the way she does everything else. She
because
wants
she
to be
cares about it.
That's right.
Yeah, you know, like whenever you care about something, like, you know, you kind of caress it a little bit. You know what I mean? Well, like you don't just go straight for it because you know.
Fill it out.
You're like, fill it out. Right. Because, you know, you don't want to put your claw on and then it's like, oh, wait a minute. Like, I mean, you don't want to catch it the wrong way. Yeah. So, again, I don't know. I think that she likes him, you know, and she really cares about him in a way that maybe she never explored. And so she wants to show him that she cares about him, which I feel like that's the one up. It's like, okay, listen, like loyalty, because she knows that Jacob is a person who values loyalty. So at the end of the day, if she uses loyalty, she knows like at the end of the day, like he's gonna go towards her because look, I've been knowing you, like I know you, like what do you mean this test? I got you. I passed the first time. Come on, so
strategy.
You know I need you.
Yeah.
Come on,
strategy. The fact that they've been friends since high school, I think she felt kind of slighted. Like, why are you going to her? You should come to me. We're closer. We're the one that go back. Right. But I felt like it took him dealing with Sarah in that way to make her realize how she had been feeling
jealousy.
Wrong. And you know, that made it clear to her, like, you know, maybe I do feel a certain type of way about him, and she didn't know that before. She wasn't sure where these feelings were coming from. For the rest of us, this is news. We didn't. I mean, if you'll notice, any of these moments, they're just between Jacob and Taylor. Like, we had no inkling that there was even anything. You know,
even in group settings.
A platonic. No.
Oh, wow.
So she's stone faced.
News.
She got
like
I was watching last night too.
She don't let you know what card she gonna pull.
I love that.
I love it.
And speaking of Poker Face, let's get into Miss Neema has something to share with us.
Listen, first and foremost, I'd like to thank each and every one of you for allowing us to be the ESPN of TV talk. But right now, we could use your help. If you're on YouTube, you know what to do. Give us a thumbs up and also subscribe. But if you're on iTunes, give us a 5-star rating. But no matter what you do, either of those, leave us comments, because without your comments, we would not be here. Myself, Ajani, Shenanigans, and this beautiful Ajani would not be here without you guys. So I love you. We love you, AfterBuzz TV. And it's not just this show, Love and Listens, but we have so many other shows on our platform. But again, please support us because we love you. We appreciate you. And Ajani, please continue, my love.
Oh, thank you so much. And thank you guys for having me.
Yeah.
I'm having a blast.
Absolutely. So I want to talk about the one thing that a lot of our viewers are wanting to know.
And us.
And what might that be?
Get into the tea.
I have no idea where this is going.
Yes, the flavor of the tea.
These confessions
Usher.
with Sam and Sarah. And Sarah even said on the show, she said, well, she must wanted me to tell, because I can't see her coming to me and not wanting that to get out. Like, that probably wasn't a good move on her behalf. So tell me how you feel about your secret getting out when you told them to not tell anyone.
You know, since the beginning of this journey with them, I had always kind of felt like the odd man out. I really didn't have a close bond with any of the girls or any of the guys. You know, Eric was looking out for me, but he's my boss. He's supposed to. So I felt lonely. I really did. And when we had this girl situation, I felt close to them. They had divulged some things to me, is really what happened. They told me some secrets that clearly didn't get out, which were cut all the way out.
Yeah.
And then when it came around to me, I'm like, oh, we're girlfriends. You know, well, let me tell you mine. But mine happened to be an atomic bomb, you know, compared to their secrets. So, you know, it was like a girl time, and it felt good to be accepted and like one of the girls. And I really, really just like fed into that. And it wasn't about, I wasn't taking into account who I was telling and what might happen, you know. And then it just got to the point where it's out. Let me just stand in my truth.
Yes.
I mean, and in no way am I proud of it. Am I bragging about it? Am I validating it? It's none of that. It's just, if I don't stand in my truth, I can't move on. And I need to sleep at night. You know?
Absolutely.
So, you know, she had been insinuating that there was something from the start, because she's, you know, very perceptive, intuitive, and I didn't like the fact that she kind of was looking like a fool when she was right. I also, you know, so I'm just like, let's get it out there.
Yeah, you do.
I did feel some type of way about that. But please believe, at one point I begged her not to say anything. I mean, I begged her for dear life, please. You know, but once I knew that wasn't gonna work, I was like, well, let's just.
I mean, but you know, I think also too, it's TV. So, you know, and I'm pretty sure you can probably attest to this, like when it's reality TV, you're so engulfed in the moment of talking to somebody, you don't realize that there's cameras there. So
and we were, you know, 3-4 bottles of wine in at this point. You know, Sarah with her sparkling water, of course, but you know, there was definitely some booze, and you know, we were loose. You know, the lips were loose, and you know, so I mean, if you see my eyes are wide, and also it was such a heavy weight knowing that was going on. I literally just bursted. I bursted. I popped.
And I feel like, you know, you probably needed that time to be able to release that, because I think that with, you know, going back to the point of, you know, seeing the guys' reaction and, you know, seeing what they're saying, like, it makes the work environment uncomfortable, like when there's this secret or like this bomb, and it's just like, well, you know, and well, why do you need to know? But it's also like, you do need to know because we have a working relationship, and if anything is going to get out, like, we need to make sure it, you know, it saves the reputation of somebody.
And it was personal too, also, you know. I really felt like he kind of had his cake and was eating it too. You know, he was going home to his fiance, living this blissful life, and then, you know, having his fun with me, and, you know, and she's over here like, what time you coming in, and I'm over here stressing about, you know, well, what's really going on with y'all too, and everybody's running around stressed except him. So again, this is not a validation, it's an explanation.
And you know what? You have your opportunity to talk. I mean, at the end of the day, everybody has the right to speak and speech, you know, about, you know, their perspective, you know, their side of the one. Because at the end of the day, it's everybody's looking at you, you know, like, and people are going to take their sides and their opinions, but your truth is your truth.
So tell me how it was watching him react when the guys confronted him in the kitchen. Hey, like, dog, is this true? And his reaction, like, what? Like, and he like, and I'm just like, huh.
Well, we do know that Andrew is an aspiring actor. I mean,
she said aspiring.
He's an aspiring actor, and that was his moment.
No doubt.
You know, he's doing what he can to save his relationship with his fiance, which did we expect anything less? So I'm just letting it play out. I told my truth. I suffered the consequences, the judgment, you know, but at the end of the day, I was honest, and he's the one that's going to have to live with the lie.
Girl, I was feeling all of those tears. Shannon, were you convinced when you saw how she reacted?
Oh yeah.
Like,
I mean, that's what makes it so hard, is like, why would you lie about something like that, you know? And so then
crazy.
And then him here the next week, and I'm like, I don't know, like, it's so conflicting. So, but I give you so much props for like telling your truth and being open about it and standing up to it, because that's not easy to do.
It's not
especially
easy.
on reality TV where everyone's watching you. So like,
it's not easy because
Yeah.
you have to make a conscious decision. Like, okay, I need to do this for me, but it's gonna come with a lot of backlash.
yeah.
I mean, I think honestly, at the end of the day, a person can say whatever they want to say, but when you look at somebody's body reaction, body reaction does not lie. And I think that I just kept always looking at your reactions, like, you know, when the rumors were spread or this was that, and it was just like I could just see
wear your
I could
expressions
see,
on your face.
you know, when it was
100%.
Your body language,
it's like
everything.
I could see the
is a
pain
tell-all.
of just like, oh my God, like
It was a tell-all completely.
I could just see it. You know what I mean? Like in your like I could just see the pain of like, oh my God, like you know, because it was just like you were kind of like, I have to be still, but at the same time, like it's painful to know something is true.
Yes.
You know, and
Someone denying
and
it.
have to sit there and act like it's not reality.
Right.
You know, so when you really look at someone, at the end of the day, someone's expressions and reaction tells you everything.
Yes.
So tell me something, Ajani.
Yes.
So when you got involved with him, I know you were saying that every time you wanted to say, okay, this is the last time, you went right back. So you were talking about these intimate moments with him. That's what you were going back to every time you said, okay, this is the last intimate moment, and then you would go right back to that.
Yes.
Because a lot of viewers wanted to clear it up, like, what does she mean she kept going back to what? And I know what that means because I've done that a time or two. So I just wanted to clear that up, that she's talking about these intimate moments that she had with him. Every time she would say, okay, last time I promised, because I know I'm not feeling right internally, right?
Right.
And then for you to go back, it's something pulling you towards him, and it's the chemistry that you share.
Yes.
And the things that you guys, you know, what drew you together in the first place.
100%. It really was hard because, well, first of all, dating in LA is like this close to impossible.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
It's
Like,
terrible.
what the hell?
Yeah.
It really is. It's really, really bad.
Like trying to get all like yellow Skittles in one bag.
It's just really, really difficult to connect with a guy that's on your
Right.
level, you know, intellectually, you know, job wise, you know, professionally. And it had been so long since I had that connection with a guy that I really gave into it. And I knew full well, you know, that what I was doing was wrong. But of course, I had that internal battle, like, well, I'm only respecting the relationship as much as he is, you know, so I'm justified. You know, I got just as much respect for your relationship that you do.
Right.
You know, I'm over here trying to validate my action one minute, the next minute I'm like, girl, this is gonna come back on you. You need to chill. Like, you are wrong. You are wrong. And regardless of what he's going through, you know right from wrong, and you're messing up.
But it's always like the vulnerability piece that pulls you into those types of relationships, because there's something there. Like, it's like, in order for you to cross a boundary has to be opened.
Yeah.
So how did you get on the Love and Listing show? Tell us about that entire process.
I had just gotten my license and I was very, very excited. And everything I was posting on Instagram.
You had just moved here how long?
I had been here a couple of years because I came out here originally to sing.
Cool.
And so when that went left, right, up, down, I said, okay, I need a real job. So I was like, well, let me try this real estate thing out, which turned out to be 10 times harder than music. So I started hashtagging real estate, you know, real estate agent, all of these things, and it just turns out that the producers were looking for a black woman, you know, to fill a slot in their show. And when they looked through the hashtags, you know, I was coming up because I had, you know, a considerable amount of followers, so my pictures would come up, and that's how they found me. So don't underestimate the power of Instagram. Hashtag, post, do all of that. You know, it was not something I was seeking at all. It really found me.
Absolutely. Oh, I love that. I love that story. That's so inspiring.
Are you still at Hooters?
No.
No?
You quit your day job, girl.
Good job. Yes.
All right, girl.
Yes, congrats.
It's a thing of the past.
That's amazing.
Right. That's
An
something to go on your
important
list.
thing, but
Hey.
yeah.
That's right.
So I love
chapter that
this
you
relationship that you have with Eric.
Yes.
He's like your mentor, your big brother.
Yes.
I love the conversation that you guys had. One thing that stood out to me that was very profound. Quote from you. You said, "I'm tired of being afraid of how great I can be." That was so powerful to me. And it just spoke volumes, because I find myself moving here from Dallas. It's like you're scared of how successful you can become because you're scared of losing who you are. You see all these other models of people that came from nothing and turned into something, and you see how they handled it, and maybe it didn't go in a way that you would project for yourself. And like, how like, just break that down for us, what that meant for you.
I think that people a lot of times just really, without sounding cliche, get in their own way. They know in their heart of hearts how successful and how impactful and how great they can be. They know it, but living it is such a challenge because they're so fearful of who that person is, like you said. They're fearful of that responsibility. They're fearful of, once you're there, ain't no turning back. They're fearful of judgment, rejection.
Right.
They are just so fearful of everything that could go wrong. They're fearful of being great and then it being snatched from you. So it's kind of like, well, let me just stay down here where nothing can be snatched because I ain't did nothing. You know, so you really have to get rid of that fear. Fear, to me, is the number one obstacle when it comes to success and pursuing your dreams.
Right.
And it's easier said than done, but you got to push through. You really got to not give a shit.
Right.
You know, and believe in yourself. Regardless of what anybody tells you, you got to believe in yourself so hardcore.
Because you
So
let people believe in you.
You have to. You really have to. And don't be afraid.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
That's amazing. Oh my gosh.
Such an impactful show here. Oh my gosh, guys. Thank you so much for joining us, Ajani. It has been amazing. You have inspired all of us here.
Absolutely.
And I mean, you're just, I just marvel at where you started and where you are right now. So I just want to thank you so much for coming on the show.
You're such a lady.
Thank you.
You're such a lady.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I really do. And I thank you guys for having me and allowing me the platform to explain myself and tell my truth.
Absolutely. That's what it's about.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much for joining in. This was season 1, episode 7 of Love and Listings. Please jump into the comments. We'll be reading them. We'll shout you out right here on air. And I have been your host, Angele Taylor. You can find me on Instagram at Angele Taylor _ Where can we find you, Ajani?
You can find me on all platforms at Ajani Scott. That's AJANISCOTT.
Where can we find you, Neema?
Neema Sky on all social media platforms, and Sky that ends with an E.
And Shannon.
And I'm Shannon. I'm Shannon. You can find me at Instagram at shenanigans.tv.
Thank you guys so much. We look forward to seeing you next week. Lim will be back.
Bye.
Bye.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.